This is Byron Gordon for the SES Conference Channel. We are at SES Chicago, day 1, and we just finished listening to Christine Churchill. Hi, Christine.
Hey, Byron. How's it going?
It's going great, and you just gave a fantastic presentation on the importance of keyword research. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about keyword research for our audience. Let's start off with, first of all, why is keyword research so important?
Whoa, that's a big question. Well, I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons it's important is all the queries that people do online, whether they're doing that query at a search engine, at YouTube, at a blog, they're using text. And so texts are what the keywords. So it goes right back to how people are searching. And if you don't have your blog posts and your sites and your images and your videos all optimized for keywords that are relevant to you and can bring traffic, you're not going to be found. I mean, that's the bottom line. So do keyword research to be found online.
Okay, excellent summation. So you already gave some examples, but really, if you're going to start doing keyword research, what are some of the places you should start to effectively do your research? Okay.
Well, my first step in doing keyword research is to look at the keywords that are currently available within the company. If I'm working with a company, I'm going to sit down with their marketing department. We're going to look at the keywords they've already identified as important to them. Now, I know, and you know, that a lot of these terms are going to be little pet phrases that they have that nobody can even spell and would never put in a search box. But a lot of times you find some really good gems in there on their keywords, and you want to know what's important to them. So you do want to start with that internal list. The next step is really trying to get more of an objective view on those terms. So the number one way to do that is to go find ways to get to the consumer base, the people that are actually buying the products or services. Some of the ways you can do that, or to talk to the folks that are actually talking to customers within the organization. So it might be like the sales folks or the technical people that are doing technical support. But if you can find them and talk with them, they'll give you terms that a lot of people have overlooked within the marketing department because I hate to say it, but they're almost too distant to the consumer at times.
Does that go back to including long tail terms as the term is known?
Long tail terms, generic phrases. Internally the company might be calling it by some really long, sophisticated, cool marketing term, where somebody else might call it something really short, and those are the terms you might find in the general population using that to describe the product. Some ways you can find that out. You can look on. You could do like a keyword search for blog search, and you can find out how people are describing your products online in their blogs. You can look on other reviews by journalists on the company or the product and see how they describe it. Because a lot of times professional journalists they've got a lot of insight on the terms customers are using a lot of times, and just because they're talking more, and they may not be plugged into the industry, so they have to, if they're going to write about something, a lot of times they have to translate it into terms they understand. So a lot of times you'll find, not a dumbing down, but you'll find terms that are more generic in nature. And a lot of times the marketing department, they don't want to be, that generic term. They want to be this really cool term. And a lot of times that backfires on companies. So finding ways, if it's doing customer surveys, things like that. And then we have the keyword tools. That's a dynamite way to find.
You named a bunch of them. You want to rattle off a few of them just right now?
I love tools. I love working with tools because it gives you a viewpoint on keyword popularity and that is beyond what you can get in your own analytics. I use the analytics as a way of looking at how some of the terms that are currently working for you, but that's kind of a catch-22 because if you're finding those terms in your analytics, you already are probably ranking or buying those terms, and that's why you're there. So going to an outside source like a keyword tool, like some of the Google keyword tools, the Google Trends, Google Insights, as well as some of the fee-based tools like Word Tracker, Keyword Discovery, WordStream, Hitwise. I could spend an hour going over.
There are a lot of them.
There's a ton of them, and none of them are perfect. All of them have a few flaws. I actually advocate using a variety of tools, some free, some fee-based. There's a lot of tools within the tools. So like if you bought one of the fee-based tools, what you'll find is a lot of tools inside that tool that's actually a suite of tools where you can manipulate the keywords a little bit differently, look at them from different angles, different databases. In some cases, they have, you can do a lot of competitive insights. They might have, some of the tools actually provide you sources of where the competitors are getting their keyword traffic. So that might be a nice insight to know, especially if you've overlooked that keyword. So there are keyword opportunities you may have overlooked that these tools give you insights on that you might not have been able to find on your own.
Any last tip or insight for people who are doing keyword research and discovery for the first time?
Sure. You're never done. Seriously. Words evolve. The keywords that people use today, a lot of times we have a living language. So keyword phrases change over time. And with the economic situation in the world, I've seen a real change in the kind of words that people are using. So if you haven't done your keyword research in the last year, I would highly recommend go back and reevaluate, because different terms are getting different popularity numbers. And if you based your keywords on earlier numbers, it might be time to revisit.
All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us,
Great.
Christine.
Thanks. Thank you.
And there's more to come here at SES Chicago. It's day one. Stay tuned for more.